The next piece of grammar that we're going to go over is sentence coherence, and we're going to be talking about parallelism. And sentence coherence just means that you put your words together in such a way that your reader is not confused by what you are saying. It all makes sense, and it all flows together very nicely. So parallelism is using the same form of words, phrases, or clauses for items that appear together, and when you use parallelism, it helps to create balanced sentences. This may sound real confusing at first, but once you see a couple of practice sentences, you will see some incorrect sentences and then the correct form. It'll start to make more sense as we go along. So we're going to compare these two sentences that I've given to you. The first one is incorrect. I have always enjoyed reading about composers to listen to symphonies and then I go to concerts. Now that sentence is not parallel because the verb form of reading, to listen, and then I go are not the same. So if you think of parallel, you think of, two lines that are parallel to each other and they go on forever, never touching. So that's what you want with a parallel sentence. You want each word, phrase, or clause that appear together in the sentence to be parallel. You want them to be just alike. So we have to change the to listen and then I go to concerts in order to make the sentence parallel. So we would change it to I have always enjoyed reading about composers, listening to symphonies, and going to concerts. So that makes your reading a little bit more smooth, and it helps your reader get a clearer picture of what you're trying to say. With parallelism, any words or phrases or clauses that are joined by coordinated conjunctions, and if you will remember, coordinated conjunctions are called fanboys, those should be parallel. So the first example is making words parallel. I try to avoid any activity that involves driving or climbing. So what you wouldn't want to say, I try to avoid any activity that involves driving or going climbing. You don't need the going. That makes it not match with the first part. So you just leave it as climbing. Or parallel phrases, you could say the squirrel ran in the flower beds, around the benches, and over the statues. You wouldn't want to say the squirrel ran in the flower beds, it went around the benches, and it goes over the statues. That again, these two other parts do not match with the first, so it would not be parallel. And to have parallel clauses, you could say you should study for the test with someone who has taken good notes, who has taped the lectures, and who has maintained a high grade point average. Also, when you use words like either or, neither nor, both, and not only but also, those sentences should be parallel as well. And I've given you 3 examples of those. For parallel words, you could write, she told the guests to bring not only vegetables but also desserts to the party. The second one is parallel phrases. My watch is either in the car or on my dresser. And then the third is parallel clauses. Sydney always revealed not only what she thought, but also what all of her friends thought. And if you'll notice on either side of the but also, or, and but also, it matches on both sides. Parallel construction should be complete. In parallel constructions, you need to be careful not to leave out words that are necessary to complete the meaning. So you want to always keep the same verb tense. That means if it happened, if you say you ran, then you need to stay in the past. You don't want to switch from ran to run. You don't want to switch from in the past tense and then go to the present tense. You want to keep the same verb tense. So the incorrect example is the first one. The soprano never has and never will sing rock music. And to correct that, we would say the soprano never has sung and never will sing rock music. So we had to add the, we had to move the sung to the right part in order for the sentence to be parallel. Since sung goes with the has, we had to move it. For your practice, you need to rewrite the following sentences and correct any faulty parallelism. So let's do the first one together. It says, are you here to apply for a job, buy something, or do you want to enroll in a cooking class? Okay, that one is not parallel because the list is not in the same format. So I need to change buy something and do you want to enroll in a cooking class to match to apply for a job. So I would change that to are you here to apply for a job, to buy something, or to enroll in a cooking class. If I do that, then I have matching sections in my list. So you need to rewrite the following sentences and correct any faulty parallelism.